It's Sketch with Liz's first birthday. For the past year, I've been going to a different location every month, sketching it, sharing tips, and filming it in real time, then inviting you to sketch along with me in your own style and share it online using the hashtag SketchWithLiz. So it's a virtual worldwide sketching club. Today is blistering hot, so I'm taking shelter and this may be fast. This is where we're going to end up. It's not perfect, but that doesn't matter. Even the scrappiest, briefest, incomplete sketch holds more memory and more meaning than a perfect photo on your phone. So welcome to Sketch with Liz. We're at the University of Reading and I thought I would do the end of the Great Hall, just a little bit of it, mainly because today is a really hot day and there's a lovely bit of shade here. So I'm looking after myself. The pen I'm planning to use is this Beryl pen because it is water resistant. It will move with water, and so I've got water brushes with me, but you'll still be able to see the line. So I am going straight in with pen, a little bit on top, and we'll see where we get to. Start with a pretty continuous line. Now this is a fine one of the markers. They do them in broad, and I haven't actually sketched with it before, so who knows what's going to happen. I'll put a link to them if you want to give them a go. So when you're doing something like this, start off with big shapes. I always suggest going in with pen rather than with pencil first, because with pencil you can be really tentative. I'm tentative at the moment because I haven't sketched for a while and I'm trying to talk and all those things, so I am being a bit tentative. It'll all loosen up in a moment. If you want to loosen up, then doing a sort of continuous line is a really good way of getting a looser mark. But that's kind of up to you. Right, let's just concentrate a little bit because angles have changed here. And we've got this, I don't know what it is, just a sort of decoration thing going on. So when you start to sketch, I would usually suggest big shapes first and then going through the little shapes, but I'm being pretty linear here simply because this is such a bold pen. Now, if you were doing a smaller piece, this might just be too big for your paper. So do think about the size of your pen for the size of the image you're doing. You'll just find, if it's too thick, it's just not pleasing. Let's have a look what's going on at the back. So this is the Great Hall at the London Road campus of Reading University, and it's where they do all their sort of graduation, and I think in the olden days used to do exams and things like this. Now, if you aren't sure of what direction lines are going in, and that sounds odd, but it's hard to tell sometimes, it's a really good idea to hold your arm out straight with your pen and just check the angles and then transfer them to your paper. So this is off camera. I wasn't sure whether this roof line is going up, but it is. So I'll just pop that there, and I can see the equivalent double on the other side from the second tower. So I'm just having that poking up for a bit of fun. I'm not sure it's going to make sense. And that is probably all we need to do, although look, if I go up here, there's another one of these over here, and that might just make it more interesting. So what the hell, I'm going to put that in. Doobie doobie doo. So then you've sort of got a 3 going on. In that case, I think I've done that wrong. If you do a wrong line, don't worry about it, because you can always put the right one in. So I've got water brushes with me, and a water brush is simply, it's got the reservoir of water here. It's so much easier than a brush in a water pot, because I'll always get knocked over. You just unscrew the handle, fill it up, and then put it in. They come in different widths, so that's a little flat one, that's more of a, no, actually that's a little flat as well. I was going to say that's more pointed. This one is more like a pastry brush. And the great thing about doing this is that you can smoosh your pen and start to develop the tone. Because just this drawing looks really rather unappealing, but the moment you start to smoosh the line, you start to get tone, and it suddenly comes to life. So sun is coming from this direction, and we can start to put that in. Now, what I like about these Beryl pens, and the reason I wanted to try it out, I hope you can see it's separating out into pink and turquoise. So I'm planning to keep this all as monochrome, but it won't be. Now, this sort of goes that way. There's quite a bit going on, so I might go quiet for a second just while I work out what is going on. Yeah, and then we've sort of got that down there, and then we've got this beautiful archway which I want to get in. See, I am tentative. Look at this. That's silly. It's just because I'm concentrating, and usually I can draw an arch with my eyes shut, but suddenly that's got a wiggle on it. But it really doesn't matter. And as I always say, you know, if you've done a mistake or it doesn't quite work, we're not really going for perfection. See, that should be lining up there, but we'll do a bit of more smooshing and it'll be fine. And this sort of goes here. Right, in the background, I'm sure you can hear plenty of noise. So we are really close to the hospital here in Reading, which I hope we will have no need of. And they're doing lots of work, I guess, ahead of graduation. There's lots of cloisters and they've all got beautiful tiled roofs, and they're retiling most of them, which is fine, but noisy. I usually in these videos, I talk a lot about speed and this is a way of doing things quicker and da 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 da. But it's a hot day today and I'm not feeling speedy. So it isn't all about speed, it's about enjoyment. It's about, I don't know, just being present. I actually went to this university very, very long time ago, and I graduated in the hall. I can't remember anything about it, to be perfectly honest. Anyway, in this very hall that we are sketching, I had my graduation many, I say, years ago. So I never actually studied on this campus. I studied on the modern one, which is really very ugly. I'm allowed to say that. But it's nice just to sit here and look. So let's darken in there and here. Got this sort of sandstone going on. I don't want it all too dark. So these pens are available in a fine tip, which is what I'm using now, and in a broad tip, which I guess if you're covering a big area you might want to use. And what is good, I'm just getting something plastic out. If you want to put some ink down but without the line, scribble on something that is non-absorbent, and then you can add a bit of water and you can paint with it. So, you know, if I want to shade here or get some of this going on, like this is in shadow, I can actually use it really in quite a sort of painterly way, which is great fun. So you don't always have to pick up the ink from the lines. You can say, I am picking up the ink from the lines in a lot of the cases, but you can also paint with it and use sort of, which I think is lovely. I'm just looking for shadows and trying to leave whites as well. I think I've got this bobble big enough. Let's definitely increase that. So I'm going to have to wait for some of this to dry before I go and put more detail on top, because pens will not work over wet area very successfully. One of the reasons I want to come here, it's not term time, it's really quiet. There are some lovely buildings I would love to sketch, like the town hall in Reading and places like that. So busy, and sitting trying to do this in a busy street is quite intimidating, and you just get in the way and you're right pain. So let's get some of this detail on. I'm not going to count these arches. Don't know how many there are, and I really don't care. We'll put a few in this sort of frieze. My lovely assistant, who is meant to be making sure that everything is in shot, has gone off in search of sustenance. So I'm hoping this bottom bit, I know, let's just move it up just in case it is off the bottom. Trouble is, when I'm filming, I have no idea what you can see because it's above me. I'm trying to think of a new way that I can film things so I can see what I'm doing and then won't be going off, but haven't quite thought of one. So if you've got any ideas, if one of you is a tech wizard, please do tell me. Ah, now that's interesting. Didn't really realise that that's a different bit of the roof to this. But it is. So the fun, as you do something, the more you look, the more you see. And then these are the edge of the tiles, and they sort of go up like this. There's some lovely shadows developing, so I'll try and get those in a moment. With shadows, it's probably a good idea to sort of do them all at once, because if you do the shadows in one area and then do the shadows later on, half an hour later, the sun has moved. So for consistency, think about getting shadows, or the main shadows, or any important shadows in at time. And of course, the sun goes in and out of shadows all the time, clouds all the time. So this pen isn't that's still wet. And you can see the pen stopping working there. So let's see what's dry and what I can come back and work on. Actually, so look at these lovely marks you're getting. If you dab away some of the water, the pink comes through a lot more strongly. Whereas if you leave it to settle, the green is there. So you can, should you wish to, sort of manipulate the colour. Mark a bit in here. And under this frieze here, let's get some detail in. It's like a little block pattern. So I guess you would call, well, this was all built sort of around the turn of the century. So some of it is quite sort of arts and crafts in its way. I think I've got that bit wrong. I'm given some extra. Yeah, I have. Never mind. Yeah, so that's a sort of period of this. As say, the main campus is kind of 1980s really, and a lot of development since. The university is sort of well known for sort of food tech, and they do estate management and all sorts really. Always struggled a bit because of its proximity to London. We're only sort of half an hour by train into central London, so it's slightly struggled. Want to make sure that this is light against everything, this roof, and I don't want sort of lines for the tiles, so I can pick up some of that ink and just paint with it to sort of make sure the tiles aren't too dominant. Again, if the sun's coming from here, this would be more in shadow. So I could stop here if I wanted to, but what I'm just trying to sort of capture a little bit more of the shadows, because I was enjoying those. And so let's see that that's definitely, that's dark, that's dark. Make sure we brought that in front. That's dark under there. Hello. That's so funny. I'm talking away to myself. I'm recording for YouTube, so you are now featured, but not seen. I was just saying, oh, it's so peaceful here. It's lovely. Da da da. Ah, lovely. Not at all. No, lovely to see you. Well, that's funny. Wherever you go, there's someone who knows you. I don't know how people ever have affairs, because you'd always get caught, wouldn't you? Not that I'm thinking of having one. It's just like, how would you? Really nice shadow just come down here. I wish I'd left that white. You can't lift this out. Once it's sort of down, it's down. So a lot of this is in shadow. Just thinking about it, of course, that is in shadow. This side. I'm just going to put some of the sort of sky behind this, just by using the water. I'm working on watercolour paper, and I think that will be quite fun to sort of soften some of this off, maintaining quite a firm grip on the pen to get the water to really flow. And I'm going to have to let all this dry so I can just go back and put a couple of crisp details, and then we are done. Okay. So I'm just going to crisp up a few details. That's now with this dry. Not all of them. And I'm holding the pen a little bit more loosely. I think I was a little firm in my grip earlier, and now I've started to relax. We can have some looser marks, which again will just bring a bit of life to this, because it's looking a bit static in my opinion. And I'm just going to concentrate more on sort of this side, because it's sort of slightly closer to us. Those lines are too harsh, so we can sort those out. So I feel I've lost this arch a little. It's sort of dark under there, possibly here. What have I done there? So I think I'm in danger of fiddling too much, and I just wanted to capture that lovely sort of turret with its dome, which I think I've probably done. And I think I'll leave it there. But working with one of these pens from Beryl, and you can get other things like, oh, Elegant Writer, it's just really fun for bringing those colours out. I wouldn't mix in another watercolour in it, because I think you would lose some of these sort of pretty colours and separations and spontaneous marks. So we'll leave it as a monochrome.